All right, team. GM, it is Metal Monday, but it happens to be on a Wednesday. I'm a little late. Miami half marathon. You got the new. They always do a spinny thing. This is year 3 for me, so I did the full, the half last year at a 129. This year, I'll get to that in a minute. But they always do a spinny thing. I think this one's probably the best one that they've done so far. The difference between the medals are just this. So they'll say 26.2, but the front's all the same, which I don't hate. I think they did their best job with the spinny thing on this one. The other two were a little jammed, but still feeling it, man. Still sore. My leg, I don't even remember being this sore after the marathon in Chicago a few months back, but really, really happy with my result. An hour and 25 minutes and 30 seconds. So that comes out to a 6-minute and 32-mile pace, 32-second mile pace. So it's crushing around 6:32s. For anyone who isn't familiar with the Miami Marathon or a half marathon, it is notorious for being extremely, extremely humid and hot. Now, the gun starts at 6, which is obviously great for the half marathoners. I mean, the majority of my race was in the dark, which is huge because once the sun comes out, all bets are off. I've experienced it through the full, and I've said it time and time again. This is not a race to run a marathon in. This is not a city to run your marathon in. And got props to you if you did. I mean, it's crazy hot. A lot of us who live down here are used to the heat. If you're coming from a cold weather environment in the winter and you're looking to escape the cold and you're training in the cold, it is just very, very much a different ball game. What else? I mean, obviously the energy here though, awesome people. They love to party, they love to dance, they love to drink, they love to be fit. There's a ton of different vendors out there at the end. It's like a manageable crowd where, it's not overwhelming, but there's enough juice to feel like you're at an event. Just going over my race personally, I started off with a couple guys that I've trained with in the past. And that probably lasted for the first 3 miles. And then the rest of the race was kind of on my own. I was being very intuitive. I checked my watch. I was right around 6:30s, and I was like, this is okay for me right now. And I kind of wanted to be anywhere sub 127 because 127 was my half marathon split in Chicago. So I knew that, and I hadn't been training. Like I haven't done speed training. I haven't been in like a block. Like I didn't train for this race. This race was in between Chicago, or from this race to Chicago was a lot of running still, but not formal training block tempo, track, long runs. There was really I think I've ran less than 5 times on my hands since Chicago, long runs over 10 miles since this race. So, I felt good that my base level fitness is still there. I feel like I have more in the tank. I feel like I'm definitely sore, and that's probably because I didn't do as much speed work or just training for that matter in my lower half, but definitely still sore. I'm still kind of scratching my head as to what the next step's going to be for me. I think there's a 305 half, which I've heard is really fun. There's a couple bridges on that one. I've also heard that there's a KV, Key Biscayne half marathon. I'm thinking about staying local for the next few. I know Austin Marathon's coming up in 2 weeks, and I have a bunch of my buddies doing that, and I was thinking about just sending it down, but I think the registration's up. But getting back, sorry, I'm on a tangent. On my race it was a battle. I mean, it was definitely hard. I think it really started to set in on miles 8 or 9. And when you get back over the Venetian here and you head into Brickell, it was literally it's just the crowd's right there. And then the crowd definitely picks up, but you're just so dead. There was one point, this is actually wicked sketchy. At one point during the race, there's an overpass and an underpass that goes up to 95 South, and you can go through it to get in towards Brickell. And there was an officer there, like kind of shooing traffic because the runners had to go this way. The cars were coming this way to get onto the highway. And I'm running, I'm about maybe a quarter of a mile, and I see the officer and I hear sirens, and I can like hear them starting to approach me. And I'm like, fuck, like this timing could be fucking terrible. And sure enough, like the officer's like, stop, stop, stop. And meanwhile, I'm going at 125 and change. Like I kind of, not that like I was keeled up because I was like, I can make this. And I saw runners ahead of me just risk it all. And no one got hit to my knowledge, but he was trying to like go stop, stop, stop. And it's like, you can't really tell a marathon runner who's going for pace to stop. Like as much as it is a freaking ambulance, what are you gonna do? So anyways, we end up getting through, but I literally see the ambulance probably like 30 to 50 feet away at that point, and I'm just like, I'm going for it. Like I'm just gonna push, and I kind of sprinted a little bit harder to get through, but it's just crazy. Like that should never happen in a race, like ever. And then there was multiple places where there was just like pedestrians trying to cross and trying to time it up, and they don't understand sometimes. And I find this to be true is if you're a bystander, even if you're watching and you have someone in your family or someone in your extended friend group that is running and is competitive, even still, I don't think anyone will understand how important it is to stay on your tangent and like to not have to make any lateral movements during a race, especially in the later miles. And when like I've had women with carriages going through at Eugene while I'm about to go up onto the track on Hayward, and I'm literally screaming at them, and I don't mean it in a way to be rude or mean, but I'm just like, get the fuck out of my way. Like I'm literally on my 26th mile. I can't move directions. I'm too tired. Like I'm hitting you, or like it's just not gonna go well. And I'm not trying to be, again, like this is not me trying to be a dick. And I think if anybody has raced in their internal competition has turned on, they will understand what I'm saying. But there was a few times where there was like a lot of passers-by, and it's, you know, people in Miami, I will say, like to, compared to Boston, like maybe like to bend the rules a little bit. Like not saying that like, there's cheating by no stretch, but just like, oh, you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to cross here because I'm a human pedestrian that lives in Miami, and I don't give a fuck about anyone else. Like that kind of shit. So I don't know. Good race though, overall. I mean, I'm happy with a 125. I really am. I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll get a 127, situation where I'll just match it the same. But not the case, and I beat it. I obviously, looking at it now, I would rather have a 124 or 123. I think it's in the tank. I think I could get even lower than that. You know, again, the weather, I didn't realize it, and I was talking to my buddy TJ about this. It's like we didn't even realize how much the weather played a factor when we were younger in our training, because we just didn't know any better. Like we were just like, oh, you're running a marathon, we're just Boston, it is what it is. It's Boston, it's Miami, it doesn't matter. It's just still 26.2, but like the conditions are extremely important, and the hydration down here, and you know, just all those things that could play serious differences, like gun time, 11 versus 6, things like that. But I do recommend the half down here. I think if you're from cold weather state and you want to do it, like it's a good city to party in. They have good events leading up to it. They have a 5K. They have even the exhibition hall, like the convention center's gotten bigger. There's just a lot of stuff that I think like there was 18,000 runners in total. I'm gonna post it on my description here, but I think my final stats were, I think I came in 61st out of 13,000. So I feel pretty strong. Overall, I think it was like 16 out of 15 out of 130 in my age group. So definitely getting better. You know, there's obviously that mentality where it's like, oh, I'm getting older. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold up as much, but I still feel like as 31, like I have a lot more to go. But definitely recommend it. 125.30, 6:32 pace. 79 and humid as shit, but that's what we have. Metal Monday, boom. I hope you guys can get one of these one day. It's a fun one.